It's Halloween, witch, magic, Halloween. Halloween, witch, magic, Halloween.
When folks hear the name R.L. Stine, his Goosebump novels are what normally comes to mind. And why shouldn't it? They are creative and a lot of fun to read. But I don't think they were intended to scare as more so provide ghoulish fun. Sort of a way just to say boo, but in a joking manner. But if you want to see what it would be like if Goosebumps had a little more edge, he did write a 2001 made-for-TV movie called When Good Ghouls Go Bad. Sure, there is The Haunting Hour and some of his novels from the 1980s, but when I mean Goosebumps with a little more edge, this is what normally comes to mind. The plot is about a town in Minnesota that fears Halloween to the point it's outright banned. Apparently, this fear traces back to the death of a student years ago named Curtis Danko, who weirdly looks like a cross between Tim Burton and the Netherworld Prince from the Beetlejuice cartoon. The story goes that he was a very different student when it came to art, either that or he had a thing for the Planet of the Apes movies. While working on a special project, Curtis dies in what I have to admit is the worst way anyone can go. I won't spoil it, but it's very disturbing. Supposedly, he leaves behind a message in his own ashes that says if anyone celebrates Halloween, he will destroy everyone. Now, I can understand Haddonfield for banning Halloween to avoid being connected to a serial killer, but the death of one child? That's a bit of a stretch. Anyway, this father and his son move back in to try and reopen the town's old chocolate factory that they used to own in order to attract more business. Unfortunately, that also involves bringing back Halloween, which the townsfolk are not too pleased about. But then some weird things happen. Halloween decorations appear in places where they have already been taken down. A stack of pumpkins piled to the sky randomly shows up, and the son's dead grandfather, played by Christopher Lloyd, comes back to life as a zombie, and it only starts from there. For those who have seen this movie, you might notice I'm being a little light on details here and there. And that's because in order to talk about the entire thing, I would have to literally talk about everything that happens. The father trying to save the chocolate factory, his son having a subplot about being scared, the boy's undead grandfather having a storyline where he feels responsible for the death of Curtis, and so forth. It would only be a disservice for those who have not seen it. In fact, you're better off checking out this movie because there's a lot of good stuff in here. The performances are actually pretty good. The obvious standout is Christopher Lloyd. I love him. He is one of my all-time favorite character actors, from Doc Brown in Back to the Future, to Reverend Jim from Taxi, the hacker from Cyberchase, Professor Plum in Clue the movie, and way too many to count. He really knows when to be sincere and accelerate the campy factor when it's needed. I especially like when he comes back to life and he just shrugs it off like it's a normal thing.
I must have gotten just enough oxygen through my skin to keep me alive. That happens, you know. Your skin actually breathes.
Even when he loses a limb, the guy just sees it as a natural occurrence. Who acts like that?
Anybody else want a piece of me?
The supporting cast is also good too. Tom Amandes plays the father, and you can tell he has a lot to juggle here. From trying to bring the family business back, to trying to be a single father, they give reasons for his situation instead of just tossing in some tropes. He wants to be a father, but knows the family brand is under jeopardy if he doesn't find a solution. There's also famed Australian soap opera actor Joe Clements, who plays the high school coach. He is the antagonist of the entire movie and enjoys soaking up the role. This character is almost like as if the brain of Biff Tannen from Back to the Future was put into the body of Chet Donnelly from Weird Science and was given acting lessons by Brendan Fraser. It is that entertaining. He always uses scare tactics to convince the town into keeping Halloween out of the limelight and at the same time is running for mayor. His best scenes are when he's acting against the undead Lloyd, or acting like a savior to the town. The child acting is very good too. Even for a TV movie of this production, you would think there would be a weak performance, but everyone's actually good. I don't normally knock down child acting as what you see is normally what you get, but there are some good performances here. I really like that girl that plans to use Curtis's old home as some form of funhouse. She has a good line or two that sounds like something Ray Bradbury wrote for her.
They don't want to feel safe. They actually want to feel just a little bit scared, even if it's just for one night. Why? Because if you don't get to survive being scared as a kid, how are you ever going to survive being scared as an adult?
The only one I can think of that doesn't sit well for me is the bully character. There's just something about the voice that doesn't sound threatening. It's a little too whispery and it doesn't come off as mean. but he tries. Then again, his plan doesn't make any sense. When he finds the cursed artwork the dead kid made, he plans to somehow make money off of it in the weirdest way.
How much would you pay to see what's under the shroud?
Nothing.
And how much would you pay to not see what's under it?
I don't get it. The last 30 minutes of the movie really make up for it. A bunch of zombies run around town, there's some great twists near the end, a couple of decent scares, and some very good special effects. The puppet work and makeup job is not too frightening for little viewers, and is actually kinda cool. This is the kind of movie where you need patience in order to get to the good stuff. I won't hold back, but there are some really cheesy and off-putting moments, but the last third is where it really shifts into gear. And when you do find out what has been going on, it doesn't cop out. I won't spoil it, but man, it goes dark in the right spots and heartwarming at the right times. When Good Ghouls Go Bad is not a masterpiece, and well, it's certainly no Paranorman, but it makes me wonder why R.L. Stine didn't make more movies like this. I'm certain there's another book he wrote in the similar vein, but nowhere near as surprisingly good as this. It's not too annoying for older viewers, and I'd say those who are ages 6 and up will be okay with this. There's plenty of entertainment value to be had here, and I kinda wonder why it doesn't get that much airplay. It debuted on the Fox Family Channel in 2001 and got some obscure syndication when it switched over to ABC Family, but not a whole lot thanks to other choices in their programming. There has been a DVD release, but it's been out of print for a while and it can be very expensive. If you can find a copy, this is worth the watch if you want a Halloween special that is fun and not too graphic on the scares. Give it a chance and check it out.
If you're stuck inside and you can't get out, but you feel like being free, grab a witch and make a switch and see what you can be. That's Halloween, witch magic Halloween. Halloween, witch magic Halloween.
Run for your lives! They're everywhere! They're putting up Halloween decorations!
Boom!
The zombie!